My family made a group chat without me thinking I'd never find out. But a cousin sent me screenshots of them laughing. She's just our cash machine. So I cut them off. When my dad called, yelling, "Where's our car payment?" I took a deep breath and said, "I found out by accident. I wasn't supposed to know. I was never supposed to know." But one random Tuesday afternoon, I got a message from my cousin Ashley, and that's when everything changed. She sent me a screenshot. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. It was a group chat, one that I wasn't in. The name at the top, family only. I scrolled down to the messages, and my stomach dropped. My mom just got the money from her. She really thinks she has a choice. My sister, Denise, LOL. She's just our cash machine. She's so dumb. My dad, anyway, what's the next thing we need? Might as well make a list before she starts questioning things. And my brother, Ricky, the golden boy who hadn't worked a day in his life, LMAO, does she really think we'll ever pay her back? I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. I read the messages over and over, hoping I was misinterpreting something, that maybe, just maybe, this was some kind of joke. But deep down, I knew the truth. It all made sense now. For years, I had been the reliable one, the responsible one, the one they could count on, not because they loved me, but because I was useful, because I had money. Growing up, it had always been the same. My parents had their favorites. Denise, the perfect oldest daughter. Ricky, the beloved youngest son. And me. I was just there. I wasn't the troublemaker. I wasn't the golden child. I was just the one who handled things. And that's exactly how they saw me. I was never their daughter. I was a bank account. I thought back to every single time I had given them money. The rent I paid when my dad called me in a panic, saying they'd be evicted. The credit card bill I covered and my mom was crying about how hard things were. The emergency car repair for Ricky's car, only to find out he used the money to upgrade his sound system. The countless times my sister forgot her wallet at dinner, knowing I'd pick up the tab. Every single time, I had convinced myself that I was doing the right thing, that they were my family, and it was my duty to help. But the second they thought I wasn't listening, they laughed at me. Ashley sent another text. "I thought you should know. I'm sorry." I stared at my screen for a long time. I didn't respond. I didn't know how to respond. That night, I didn't sleep. I laid in bed, replaying years of manipulation, years of being the good daughter who never said no. And I realized something. I was done. I wasn't going to fight them. I wasn't going to call them out or demand an apology. I was just going to stop paying. No more rent. No more car payments. No more bailing them out. At first, I ignored the texts. My mom sent a casual, "Hey, sweetie. Did you send the money yet?" I didn't reply. My sister sent, "Hey. I need help with my credit card bill. Can you send $500? I left it on read. Then came my dad. At first, he was polite. "Hey, kiddo, rent's coming up. Need you to cover it again this month." I ignored it. A day later, "Did you send it yet?" Ignored. Then, "Hello. This is important." Ignored. And then, the phone calls started. I let the first one ring out, then the second, then the third. By the fourth call, I figured I might as well get it over with. The second I picked up, he was already yelling. "Where's our car payment?" It was due yesterday. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding. And I said, "I don't know, Dad. Maybe you should check with your cash machine in the group chat." Silence. Then he hung up. And I knew this was just the beginning. The silence didn't last long. 15 minutes later, my phone started blowing up. First, my mom. "Mom, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you?" Then my sister. "Denise, are you seriously spying on us?" And then my brother. "Ricky, wow, grow up. You're so dramatic." I didn't reply. A few hours later, my dad called again. I let it ring. He called 4 more times. I knew if I answered, he'd try to flip it on me, like he always did. That I was being selfish, that family helps family. But family isn't supposed to laugh behind your back and treat you like a walking ATM. Then a new text came in. Mom, you're being ridiculous. We need to talk. Come over now. I laughed out loud. Like hell, I was going over there. For the first time in my life, I had the upper hand. They needed something from me, and I wasn't giving it to them. That's when I decided to log into my parents' car loan account. I had set it up years ago when my dad had forgotten how to do it himself. And, of course, I had been the one making the payments. I checked the balance. Over $6,000 left. A car I had basically paid for. And yet, my dad drove it around like it was his hard-earned possession. A thought crossed my mind. I scrolled to the payment history. No, Dad, I said, my voice steady. That's what I do. And I'm done. He started to yell again, but I hung up. And then, before I could second-guess myself, I clicked confirm voluntary repossession. The car would be gone by the end of the week. I sat back and took a deep breath. For the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't felt before. Relief. But I should have known. They weren't going to let me go that easily. The next morning, I woke up to 90 missed calls and a flood of texts. Mom, what the hell did you do? Dad, you are dead to me. Denise, you seriously took Dad's car. What is wrong with you? Ricky, Almo, guess you finally lost it. Good luck living without us. I didn't reply. I just sat there, staring at my phone, letting it all sink in. They weren't apologizing. They weren't asking what was wrong. They weren't even pretending to care about how I felt. They were just furious that I finally stopped playing along. A few hours later, my apartment buzzer went off. I checked the camera feed and saw my dad standing outside, his face bright red, jabbing his finger at the intercom. I didn't answer. Then he started pounding on the door. Open this door right now. Nope. Not happening. A minute later, my phone rang. I picked up, but I didn't say anything. Just listened. You think this is funny? My dad shouted. You think you can just screw over your own family? I stayed silent. You listen to me, you ungrateful little, and then, clear as day, my mom's voice in the background, we should have never had her. Something inside me broke. I hung up. A few seconds later, my phone dinged again. A voicemail. I didn't listen to it. I deleted it without a second thought. I stood there for a long time, staring at my reflection in the dark screen of my phone. They didn't love me. They never did. I was just useful. And now that I wasn't useful anymore, I was disposable. I should have felt sad. But instead, I felt something else. Rage. And for the first time in my life, I let myself feel every ounce of it. That's when I remembered something. When I was 19, my parents had asked me to co-sign a loan for their house. They hadn't qualified on their own, so they had tricked me into putting my name on it. Told me it was just a formality, that it wouldn't actually affect me, that they would handle everything. And like an idiot, I believed them. I grabbed my laptop, pulled up my email, and started digging. And there it was, a mortgage statement with my name on it. My name, my credit, my responsibility. I had co-signed, but they had never actually let me see the loan details. I had been too naive to ask. I clicked through the files, my hands shaking, and then my stomach dropped. They were 4 months behind on payments. They were on the verge of foreclosure. I sat there, my heart pounding. They thought they could throw me away. They thought they could treat me like garbage. But I owned half their house, and they had no idea what was coming next. I stared at the screen, barely breathing. They were 4 months behind. The bank had already sent a notice of default. If they missed another payment, they'd be in serious trouble. And the best part? Since I co-signed, I had legal rights to the house. They thought they had control over me. But they forgot one thing, I was smarter than them. I didn't waste time. I called the bank the next morning. Hi, I'm a co-signer on a mortgage, and I'd like to discuss my options. After verifying my identity, the agent went quiet for a moment. Ma'am, are you aware that the primary borrowers are at risk of foreclosure? I smiled. Oh, I'm aware. What can I do about that? Well, she said, since your name is on the loan, you have the right to take over ownership, provided you can cover the missed payments. I sat up straighter. So just to be clear, if I pay what's owed, I become the primary owner. Yes. If you assume the loan, the house is yours. I took a deep breath. I'd like to move forward with that. A few hours later, I wired the money, the last dime my family would ever get from me. And just like that, their house was mine. I didn't say anything to my parents. I wanted them to find out the hard way. And, oh, they did. A week later, Denise called me, screaming. What the hell did you do? I held the phone away from my ear. Oh, you mean taking back what's legally mine? Mom and Dad just got a letter saying they don't own the house anymore. You can't do that. Oh, I definitely can, I said. And I did. She sputtered. But where are they supposed to live? I shrugged. Not my problem. That's when Mom grabbed the phone. You selfish little bitch, she shrieked. You just made your own family homeless. I laughed. Actually laughed. Mom, I said, my voice calm. I didn't make you homeless. You did that to yourselves. Maybe you should have spent less time using me and more time paying your bills. You ungrateful, I hung up. The next day, I drove to my house. My new house. My parents were standing on the porch, looking completely shocked. Dad stormed up to me, his face red. You can't do this. I can, I said, holding up a folder. Here's the deed. My name's on it. Yours isn't. You can't just take our house. Mom wailed. Why not? I said, you took my money for years. Consider this payback. You're a monster. Denise screamed. I tilted my head. Am I? Or did I just finally start playing by your rules? And then, just to twist the knife, I pulled out an eviction notice. You have 30 days to get out, I said. Or I'll have you removed. Dad actually lunged at me. You can't do this. But I just stepped back and smiled. Watch me. Over the next month, I watched my family fall apart. My parents begged me to change my mind. I ignored them. Denise accused me of ruining everything. I told her to get a job. Ricky whined that he had nowhere to go. I suggested he sell his gaming PC. They tried everything. They guilt-tripped me. They called other relatives to turn them against me. They even tried calling the police, claiming I had stolen their home. But when the cops showed up, I handed them my documents. Legally, it's hers, the officer said. Nothing we can do. When their 30 days were up, I drove by to watch them leave. Denise was crying. Ricky looked pissed. Mom refused to look at me. Dad. He just glared. You'll regret this, he spat. I smiled. No, Dad. I regret ever letting you use me. And with that, I watched them drive away. For the first time in my life, I was free. They lost everything. I lost nothing, and I never looked back.